I spoke the truth and I expressed how I was feeling. Like, okay, I don't understand where you're trying to like use that against me.
But to just be able to see that happening and then not be pulled to comfort and protect her, that's a bad man.
It's going to be not an instant thing, but it's worth learning and it's worth committing to continuing to do and try to do, even if you mess up.
Right.
Don't give up and just put your armor back on.
She's controlling him. Right now, she controls him for manipulative purposes, but it's her feminine power that controls him. So you take, as powerful as a man can be, a woman will always be powerful, because you can take the most powerful, successful man in the world, and a feminine woman can control that man. Me.
Well, here's the thing too about being vulnerable that I also think will give people power in being vulnerable.
Yeah.
You're speaking your truth when you're vulnerable.
Right.
Every other time, you're putting a mask on. Either you're sad and you're lashing out because you're sad and you've turned it into anger, or you're sad and you're trying to like manipulate somebody to like give you what you want. When you're vulnerable, you're just stating the facts.
Yeah.
And so even if somebody misuses that or uses it against you or anything like that, it's not like they have anything that you didn't offer up.
Exactly,
and so when you're being vulnerable, just speak your truth.
Right.
And even if somebody's like tries to make a joke about you, because I guess that's what people also get afraid of is like, they're going to make jokes about, they're going to be like, she told me I hurt her feelings. Okay. Every single person in this world has had their feelings hurt.
Right.
So if somebody tried to use my vulnerability against me, I'd be like, I spoke the truth and I expressed how I was feeling. Like, okay, I don't understand where you're trying to like use that against me.
What you're talking about is how vulnerability makes you invulnerable.
Right.
It makes you bulletproof.
Yes.
Because if you're like, I'm just gonna like, oh, that hurt. Oh, that stings.
Right.
And, oh, actually, it's funny in that book, the Empowered Wife, she says, ouch. Right. Just say out. Right.
She said that in the other one too.
Yeah. And it's like, when you do that, then now the stuff can't actually affect you so deeply because you're already out there all the way.
Right.
And your response to someone hurting you is, that hurts.
Right.
So it's almost makes you invulnerable because nothing can really, the things still hurt, but they can't destroy you. You know what I mean?
Because and now you're getting somebody's reaction based on your true feelings, right? Because if you're not being vulnerable and you're like upset about something and you're yelling at your husband and now he's responding to your yelling, you feel like he's responding to your sadness, but really he's responding to your reaction. Whereas if you're vulnerable and you're like, ouch, that hurt me, he has to directly respond to your emotion or your like topic of what is bothering you. There's no anything in front. So if he doesn't treat you well by that, you also get his pure reaction and you can make a decision like, oh, okay, I came out here and I was vulnerable and I did this and he treated me this way. That's not really how I want to be treated.
Exactly. Yeah.
Especially if I'm giving him this raw emotion and there's no fluff in front for him to defend himself and he's still going to come and attack me.
Yeah.
That is something that a woman would need to consider.
That's not a good guy.
To be with, exactly. You wouldn't want to be with somebody like that.
A man that can watch a woman being vulnerable and showing her weakness and like just like cry, and can respond in a negative way. And again, maybe a slip up, you know what I mean? But and then realizing it, but to just be able to see that happening and then not be pulled to comfort and protect her, that's a bad man. That's it's like, when kids torture and dissect animals and stuff and they're like, okay, like serial killer, it's like, it's the same type of thing. Like you can, like there's something broken inside you as a man if you don't respond. It's like a woman that doesn't respond to a baby cries, right? Women respond to baby, So if you're a mother and the baby's crying and you're just, like in Oppenheimer, right? When we were watching that movie, right? He comes home from work. Yeah. She's drinking. The baby's just screaming, and she's not fazed by the baby crying at all. That's a bad sign. Something's wrong. So it's the same thing. If a guy doesn't have a response to that, he should have a response to that. There's something wrong so that might be a guy that is a bad guy, like a really to the core bad guy. So,
yeah. So, and it's hard to learn how to be vulnerable as a woman who has put her guard up and has lived for a long time with her guard up. It's going to be not an instant thing, but it's worth learning, and it's worth committing to continuing to do and try to do, even if you mess up.
Right.
Don't give up and put your armor back on.
Yeah.
You need to learn how to continue to be vulnerable and realize that you create your own safety. Like you said, when you're vulnerable, you actually become invulnerable.
Yeah.
And that, I think, will help women because they're already in this mindset where they have to be strong and they have to be independent.
Right.
So if they realize the strength in being feminine and even the independence, like we talked about in the very beginning of this episode, that a man gives you when he takes on the masculine things in your life and provides for you so you have the freedom, that like this is the true femininity. Yeah. This is the femininity, the femininity that women want.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And that they'll feel the most comfortable in.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, but it's hard. It's hard to, well, and I want to say one thing about the power thing too, because here I got for King book for you. The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. The Art of Seduction. So in that book, he talks about seduction, but really a lot of it is about feminine power. Because one of the examples, the classic one, is Cleopatra over Marcus Antony, Cleopatra, he's running the Roman Empire, right? So, but she's controlling him, right? Now she controls him for manipulative purposes, but it's her feminine power that controls him. So you take, as powerful as a man can be, a woman will always be powerful, because you can take the most powerful, successful man in the world, and a feminine woman can control that man. You know what I mean? And again, I'm using the word control because I'm being extreme, but what I'm saying is that she has power over the man, right? A man, however powerful he is, the right woman, right, that acts in a feminine way, the damsel in distress, he's still going to respond to the damsel in distress. He's still, so I guess women don't realize how much power they have by being feminine, because, I'm not saying to cry crocodile tears and but if you're authentically expressing yourself and being feminine, you are going to have a big sway on a man. Let's say that you're in an argument about you don't want to move to North Dakota or whatever, and he's taking a job in North Dakota, and you're like, it's not fair. You shouldn't make us move to North Dakota. I don't want to, I'm never going to like it. Like, you don't care about me. Okay. But then instead of that tact, you just start crying, and you just say, I'll do it, but I'm just so sad, and I don't
even think you would say, I'll do it, because, she knows that. I think the feminine response would be like, I'm really worried about making new friends or finding new things, like talking about what you're actually worried about.
Right.
And then that is the way to get a man to understand. Like, talk about how it makes you feel, not like in the way, like you said, of being like, you don't think about me, but talking about your actual feelings about why are you afraid, or what makes you scared of moving? Like, what are your concerns? Like, I'm going to miss my family that's here, if you live near your family, like things like that is a better way to handle it than like you said.
Exactly. Yeah. Just being, 100% and crying, being, he's going to come to your rescue. Maybe you're not even going to move to North Dakota, or maybe he's going to care about all those things and try to fix those things and then make you feel better that you want to go. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're acting like that and you don't want to go, he would give up his job. He would give up his career. I can't speak for all men, but I'm saying as a man that most men would do that.
He would try really hard. Yeah, for
if there's
sure.
any other way, so, but that's the thing, is like taking that approach, you have so much more power.
Right. And women don't realize.